What's going on, everybody? This is Jeff with Living in Arizona, and today I'm going to be talking about, is Arizona really that hot? And I know this keeps coming up, but people keep wanting to know. Scotty Mack, he said, I'm looking forward to living in Phoenix, but the thought of experiencing a blowtorch hot summer makes me a bit uneasy. I guess I need to wake up very early in the morning to go jog outside. I hope my garbage bin doesn't melt. I said, Lol, it won't, man. But yeah, it's hot. All right, so this is just one comment, but many people who are really moving here are like, "Oh my gosh!" Outside of the creepy crawlers, they want to know how hot does it really get, and depending on where you get the information online, it can be really distorted, right? If you factor in the whole state of Arizona, where you include average temperatures for, um, Page and Flagstaff and Sedona and Phoenix and Tucson, you get a watered down uh, temperature, right? So it's not very accurate. I mean, this USA Today article that came out, you're like, hey, I'll trust USA Today. Well, guess what they said? They said, here's the title: hottest state in the U.S. this summer. It's not Arizona. Here's why. So totally just a distorted article. I mean, I get where they're coming from, but the way that they're telling it makes it sound like Arizona is not even the hottest place in the nation, and it is really, it really is. So they're doing the watered down version of Arizona. But if you think Arizona and Phoenix are the same, you're mistaken. So they're saying that Texas and Louisiana and Florida, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Arkansas, South Carolina, and Hawaii are all hotter. Okay, well, that's the whole state. Okay, because it can be pretty chilly up in Flagstaff in the summer, like 81 chilly, right? In the summer, you'd be happy to have 81 degrees in Flagstaff, right? But when you're in Phoenix and it's 118 degrees, yeah, right. So let's talk about that. So most people, when they think Phoenix, they or think Arizona, they think Phoenix, they think Tucson. The average temperature for January in Phoenix is 69 degrees for a high. Low is 46 degrees. Okay. For those of you who are in the Celsius, I'm gonna have to stick away from Celsius because here in the United States we do Fahrenheit. Um, February 72 and 49 for the low, so 72 for the high, 78 for the high, 54 for the low. Okay, April 86 for the high, 60 for the low. So you can see in March, April, it starts to get really nice, but it starts to really ramp up in April. By the time you're in May, it's going to get hot, 95 and 69 for the low. And then our hottest month is going to be July. Now, it's going to average over 100 degrees for 4 months: June, July, August, September. You're looking at lows in the 80s, okay, and highs as high as 106 on average, okay? Now, October, it starts to cool down below 90s, okay, and it gets almost into the 50s at night. Then, December, you're looking at 67 degrees, 45 degrees for the low. So December is pretty chilly. It's actually the coldest month in Arizona is December. So that gives us a yearly average of 87 degrees and 63 degrees at night. Okay, that's our yearly average. But you can see we're fluctuating in Phoenix just alone. We're fluctuating in between 67 degrees and 106 on the high for our highs. The lows, the lows are going to be about. Sometimes we'll get deep freezes, guys. It does happen December and January. You will start to see some days that will be freezing. Okay. Now, I wanted to touch on this because people are really concerned. Like, this is a question on Quora. In the Arizona desert, there are years with over 100 days over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so they're saying that there's years where you'll have over 100 days out of 365 days where you'll be over 100 degrees. Now, that's not the full year, but you can see 100 days out of 365 days, that's one third, almost just under one third of the year, right? Now, at least we have air conditioners here. I mean, if you're an air conditioning business, that's a great business to be in Arizona. Like, that's going to be high demand because, especially in the summertime, people are like, either fix me or get me one that works better, something, right? So, how did the Hohokam Indians do this, where they irrigated crops and built multi-story adobe houses with 2 to 3 foot thick walls? That's how they stayed comfortable in this heat. Like, the Native Americans had to deal with this heat head on in the summertime, and that's how they did it, with adobe very thick adobe walls. Adobe is a mud brick. So that's how they did it. But could you imagine without any AC what it would have had to feel like? Now, people are also saying, well, okay, I've heard it gets to some incredibly hot days, right? Where we're talking 118 degrees in 2016. We hit 118 degrees in 2016. So not every year are you going to hit 118 or 120. But just like ever so often we get deep freezes where it'll freeze for a couple days in Phoenix, we can also get super high temperatures, 118 degrees, okay? So this whole article from USA Today, if you read it incorrectly and you didn't understand, you would say, oh, well, Arizona's not even the hottest place in the nation. Well, actually, Phoenix is one of the hottest places in the nation. Outside of Las Vegas, cities-wise, you want to know the hottest cities. Phoenix, Vegas, Tucson, Palm Springs, some of the hottest places you'll ever be, okay? I mean, I'm sure Miami gets pretty hot in the summer too, so does Honolulu, but a little bit different kind of heat, right? So if you're looking for all this data, you can find it on Intellicast. If you wanted to know the average temperatures, go to Intellicast.com. They have the information depending on what city you want to move to. Let's say you want to move to Flagstaff. Let me give you the numbers for Flagstaff, highs and lows, right? So the highs and lows for Flagstaff, like right now, it is 45 degrees for a high, 17 degrees for a low. So it's already freezing. Here it is, December 8th. It's already well below freezing in Flagstaff. What's another place? Let's look at Tucson, right? Let's see how Tucson compares to Phoenix right now. So Tucson's 66 and 39, just a little bit cooler than Phoenix. Tucson's a couple degrees cooler than Phoenix. So that's something to keep in mind also. If you want to save yourself a couple degrees, go to Tucson. Now let's look at something like Prescott, right? So how's Prescott looking? Prescott, same kind of thing. 56 and 27. So it's not quite as cool as Flagstaff. So Flagstaff is colder than Prescott, okay? Now let's take a look at something like Cottonwood, which is near Prescott, but not quite, right? So 61 and 36. Not quite. This is why a lot of people should consider Cottonwood. It's not as hot as Phoenix, but it's not as cold as Prescott. So it's if you're looking for a happy medium, consider a place like the Verde Valley, which is Cottonwood, Cornville, Clarkdale, Camp Verde, even Sedona, right? Like, let's see, where does Sedona stack up in this mix? 60 and 38. So it's not getting below freezing in Sedona. So Sedona is not as cold as Flagstaff. So this is why Sedona is really highly coveted by a lot of people. And in the summertime, it won't get killer hot up there. I mean, 100 degrees in Sedona is like, whoa, it's 100 degrees. And so, I mean, Sedona is really something, that's something to consider. It really is. And unfortunately, if a bunch of people move to Sedona, it no longer would be beautiful like it is because, I mean, there's still going to be the red rocks and the mountains, but if that place got overpopulated, it might not be so great to be there. But you can see Sedona is kind of ideal, really is. It doesn't get too cold and it doesn't get too hot. So something to consider. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below letting me know if you have any questions. Thank you to everyone who's been liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. And we'll see you guys next time.